Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we're going to talk about some of the changes made to weapon mechanics, some of the menu systems, some of the UI and unlocking system for classes, just so you can have a easy way of getting into Battlefield 1, especially if you're familiar with previous Battlefield games. And one of the first things I wanted to talk about is the new weapon modification called Recoil Direction. And I had no idea what to think of this when I first saw it in the menu, so I had to equip it and try it out in game. By default, it's set on center, but you can also choose left or right. So I started off with left recoil, and sure enough, it made the recoil of my weapon favor the left side. Then I tried right, and it made the recoil of my weapon favor the right side. Center obviously gives you the most centered recoil. Now, at first I thought this might be a more advanced way to try and compensate for weapons that pull more to the left or to the right, but when you look at the weapon stats on Synthic, you'll notice that every single weapon in Battlefield 1 now has equal left pull as it does equal right pull. So it's not going to favor left or right anymore. So why would you want to put a left or right emphasis on your recoil pattern? Now, I wasn't really sure, so I decided to tweet Alan Kurtz, basically one of the lead weapon guys on the Battlefield games, and he said that it's totally personal preference and that he prefers one specific recoil direction when he tends to compensate. So this is going to be for probably high level players or people who understand their personal recoil tendencies a bit more, and you could put left or right recoil control on there. Personally, when I play console, I tend to pull to the left a little bit just because of the size of my thumbs compared to the size of the controller, so that might help out console players a bit more. Another big change for Battlefield 1 is the prevalence of iron sights, and the developers decided to put in multiple zoom levels even for iron sights. So when you ADS, if you have the setting turned on, you'll basically zoom in a little bit with iron sights, but you can actually modify that specifically for each gun. How much do you want that zoom to be? It can be anywhere from a 1-time zoom to a 2-time zoom, maybe even a little bit further than that depending on the rifle you're using. But you'll find yourself using bolt action rifles with iron sights like Lawrence of Arabia's SMLE, and that's a really fun to use rifle. But if you want a little bit more precision, a little bit more zoom to the iron sights, you can put like a 2-time zoom on there, and that'll help you get slightly more accurate shots with iron sights. Now, unlocking new weapons, gadgets, and even weapon skins has changed pretty significantly. The first cool change is the Battlepack system, and I actually like this a lot. This is how you get special melee weapons and custom weapon skins in the game. And basically, there's 3 different types of battle packs. You can earn the basic type of battle pack simply by completing a game of Battlefield. At the end of the round, you have a random chance of winning a battle pack, and it's a pretty good chance. I've already earned quite a few just from playing. Now, skins can be one of 3 different rarity levels. You have Special, which is the most basic, then you have Distinguished, which kind of has a blue hue to it when you see it in the menu, and then you have Legendary, which has got that sort of orange hue to it, which is the most rare. A basic level battle pack can give you any level rarity of skin, so you can get Special, Distinguished, or Legendary. However, if you use your scrap to buy a higher level battle pack in game, you can get a guaranteed Legendary or a guaranteed Distinguished. But if you want to buy an enhanced battle pack or a superior battle pack, you can do so with scraps. And the way you earn scraps is by basically breaking down the weapon skins that you get that might be duplicates of one that you already have. Or if you just don't want some of the basic weapon skins, you can break them down for scrap to buy higher level battle packs. Now, in order to get special melee weapons, those actually come as legendary puzzle pieces, and those will come in addition to the basic skin that you get, and there's just a random chance of that. And to get those special melee weapons, you actually have to collect all the puzzle pieces needed to assemble the melee weapon itself. So the legendary melee weapons are going to be much harder to get than some of the legendary weapon skins. Now, I really enjoy this new weapon skin system. It's a lot of fun, and it also adds incentive to stick around to the end of a game. If you don't complete a round, then you're not going to get your chance of winning that battle pack at the end of the game. So if you want your cool skins, wait till the end of the game. Don't rage quit. Don't drop out if your team is losing. Now, there's a couple of custom pre-order bonus weapons in the game, like Lawrence of Arabia's SMLE. You also get a Hellfighter trench shotgun, which is cool. And basically, these guns are not going to be statistically any different from some of the standard weapons in the game. They might look cooler, they might sort of turn a head or two on the battlefield, but you're not getting any sort of tactical advantage with those, in case any of you guys were wondering. In addition to which, it seems like DICE is going to be offering community missions to unlock custom weapon skins in the game for potentially a limited period of time. Like right now, if you get 100 kills in Battlefield 4 or Battlefield Hardline with the M1911, you will unlock a custom 1911 skin in Battlefield 1. This is only available for a limited time, so if you want to get that skin, you gotta do it now. Now, to unlock weapons, you need to use in-game currency, very similar to Battlefield Hardline, but not identical. So from playing the game and getting experience and playing the objective, you will get war bonds, and war bonds can be used to purchase new weapons and gadgets for your class. The only difference between this and Hardline, however, is that a lot of the weapons will be restricted based on your class level, some of the gadgets as well. So basically, if you want to unlock like the top level sniper rifle, the Martini Henry, that's going to require you to get your recon class up to rank 10. So you can't just get a lot of money and focus it into one weapon that you really want. You're still going to have to rank up specific classes to get some of those higher level weapons. So far, it seems to be relatively well balanced. I don't find that you get so many war bonds that you have enough money to buy everything you want immediately. You really do have to kind of pick and choose what classes you want to buy good guns for at the start, and then eventually when you hit a higher level, I'm sure you'll be able to unlock it all. Now for PC players, things are changing up quite a bit in terms of how you join games and how you join games with friends. First of all, Battlelog is not moving forward with any DICE games or EA games as far as I know. It's all going to in-game browser stuff. So basically there's going to be a universal browser, and I can switch between Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4 at will. You can also squad up before you join a match now, which is good for the PC side of things. I think you could do this on console beforehand, but now you can do it on PC. It's going to make joining with friends a lot easier, and servers should not auto team balance anymore and split up the squad. So that's going to be really great. So basically you join games through a similar style server browser as to Battlelog, but just in-game. The only downside of this is that the new game mode operations, which I think is great, cannot be found through the server browser. You actually have to join games through matchmaking. I'm not really sure what the reason behind this. Maybe they just wanted it to be official DICE servers running the operations game mode or something like that, but it's a little bit of a letdown, and I don't actually think it works right now in the early access. It was supposed to work, but it doesn't, so we'll just have to wait and see how that's running at the actual game launch. Now, of course, weapon balance and class balance has changed up pretty significantly from previous Battlefield games. There's a few cool little changes that you'll definitely want to be aware of when just getting into it, especially if you've been playing a lot of Battlefield Hardline or Battlefield 4. One of the most important new concepts to understand is the sniper rifle sweet spot. Now, not every single sniper rifle in the game has this. I know the Gewehr M95 doesn't have this, and a version of the Russian Trench 1895 doesn't have this, but most other bolt-action rifles have sweet spots, which means that the rifle can one-shot, body shot kill somebody if you're at a specific distance from your target, and each rifle has a different specific distance. Understanding that specific distance with each weapon is very important, and actually Simthic.com has updated their Battlefield 1 weapon stats, so if you want to know what those distances are, you can go over to that website and check them out. There's also a few mechanics that you might want to understand better with the medic class. When you revive somebody, it's no longer a charge-up process. You always revive them at full health, and you get 50 points for a revive. However, sometimes you can't revive somebody based on how they died. For example, melee kills will make somebody unrevivable, so there are benefits for killing people in specific ways. Now, the old school Battlefield engineer class doesn't exist anymore. The class that can repair vehicles, you generally wanted to pick that class if you're going to hop into a vehicle. Now, if you spawn into a tank or an aircraft, you will get a custom vehicle class that comes with a wrench. However, the support class can also equip a repair tool. So if you want some additional support with a tank, or you know somebody's going to be a secondary gunner in, say, a land ship, it might make sense for them to run the support class with a repair tool. Also, unlike the alpha where you had to rank up your classes to get some of the more important gadgets like the AT rocket gun for the assault class, those are unlocked by default for everybody at the start now. So you have it in your inventory. It's not equipped by default. You'll have dynamite and anti-tank grenades. You might want to swap out like the dynamite for an AT rocket gun at the start, just so you have a nice ranged weapon to take out armor. And heck, it's actually pretty good at taking out infantry as well. Now, one more area of the game that honestly could use its own video in itself because it's fairly complicated are the new settings, controls, configurations for Battlefield 1. One thing that threw me off off a little bit was that I was trying to replicate all my settings identical to Battlefield 4, and there was a few things off. I think like the coefficient or the soldier's zoom sensitivity is different from the hipfire sensitivity. Something like that is a bit off. So I went in there and started tweaking settings to try and replicate Battlefield 4 settings as closely as possible if you want a nice smooth transition if you're used to your settings from Battlefield 4. So definitely something to play around with. Check out the new options. There are a ton of them. And that pretty much wraps it up for this transitional video. I hope it helps you guys get started with Battlefield 1. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.